Hey, welcome to Watercooler. Thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. You know how the show goes. Chris Loxamana, kick it with my former Grill Digital Buds Philly style. With me today, all the way in Orange County, California, we got Gary Smith here.
So what's up?
Hey, Gary, you okay, dude?
I got some disappointing news, but nothing I won't get over.
Yeah, you just seem a little melancholy, yeah, but okay, we'll get into it some other time. And then all the way in Long Beach, California, we got Kalen Bean.
Going on.
Hi, Kalen.
Hey,
and
Chris.
then all the way in North Hollywood, California, we have Mike Dawson.
The position.
And then all the way in Austin, Texas. Oh, we got Matt Fondelier here.
Bonjour, mon frère.
Matt. All right. I missed you guys. Look at us. We're all here. And I'm really excited because somebody came back from a fun trip. And I want to hear all about it. And that's Dawson. He was in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, dude. I was up in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where Dollywood is. And they do a music festival up there every year, like hardcore rock acts and some popular ones.
Just
how
like
much of
Dolly
the
Parton.
how much?
Yeah.
That's right. Very Dolly. I mean, she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. How much of the horns did you see? The horns being thrown up by the hands.
Oh, horns all day. I just
Horns.
found it. Izzy just sent me a picture of me and him on stage introducing Max Sabbath. And
I saw them.
And I'm like, I'm throwing horns. You saw Max Sabbath, dude?
Yes, they were playing at fucking Outside Lands in San
They're
Francisco.
fucking scary, right, dude?
They're a Black Sabbath cover band, but they look like a demonic version of Ronald McDonald and the various 80s characters of the McDonald universe. It's
insane,
absolute, and they're incredible musicians.
And it's scary. I mean, sometimes at shows, like I appreciate being frightened. I mean, that's why the band Gwar exists. So in that vein, fucking Max Sabbath was pretty fucking cool.
I
look at them online because I had to introduce them. And I'm like, okay, I better find out something about this band. And I'm like, is this a joke? I'm looking at these pictures.
Speaking of Gwar, I saw a Gwar tribute band called Gwarls Jr. Also,
smart.
Yeah,
that's pretty smart. But yeah, dude, I'll tell you one thing, man. The band that is in the best shape, the band that is in the absolute golden years is Night Ranger. They still got at least 3 of their original members. And I totally forgot this, but Night Ranger is one of those bands that has 2 lead singers. Jack Blade sings, bass player, and the drummer sings. And they did it, and it was fucking awesome, man. That was a hell of a show. But I got to see Tesla and just got to see, all these friends, dude. We go away for 4 days and you're in a rock and roll fucking fantasy land, dude. This is not real life. Like, I don't know how people keep this up for 3 to 4 month tours.
Is this the real life or is it just fantasy?
Right. Exactly, dude. But it's a rock and roll fantasy and it's good to be back. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I saw a bunch of bears. I drank a lot of beers.
Bears and twinks, or what are we talking about here?
And then one thing I noticed. One thing there were a lot of fun, cool people there. I saw this one lady on night 1. I got in there Thursday night, and there's this bar to pre-party, and this lady must have been like, I don't know, late 50s, mid 50s, but wasted. And she fell in a glorious fashion. I mean, she did a triple Lindy on her way to the ground and ended up fucking breaking her nose and splitting her lip on a chair.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, well, here we go, man. This is a weekend. The festival doesn't even start till tomorrow, poor lady. But yeah, that's one of the things I saw. Anyway, it's good to be back. Trying not to get sick. I'll tell you, fucking, I got maybe in 4 days, I got maybe 10 hours of sleep.
How did your set go? I mean, you had some rock jokes that I think you tested out on our Patreon audience last.
That's right. Actually, it went great, dude. So Britt Lightning, the guitar player from Vixen, did her first stand-up set ever. And I was gonna do a joke about how if I named myself after weather phenomena, I'll just be a Mike. A tree fell on my house, and it turns out Hal Sparks was on this set, and so 10 minutes before I take the stage, I thought of this, and I get up on stage, and I'm like, Brit Lightning. However she does tonight, she's got the coolest name in the world, Brit Lightning. I mean, how do you get a name like that? Do you meet a guy named Hal Sparks and go, I can do better? And the whole fucking crowd erupts. And then I followed it up with I tried to do that, but all I could come up with is Mike, a tree fell on my house. That's what I tried to name him. So it worked more as a tag, and it totally fucking worked. And Don Jameson and Courtney Cronin, who set up the thing, they both looked at me totally seriously, and they go, dude, you are fucking funny.
Nice.
And you always take that with a, grain, but when you're at that level, you don't get in someone's face and say, dude, you are fucking funny, unless you mean it.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good set. I dropped a joke. I forgot a joke, and I think I did under my allotted 7 minutes, but no one will ever complain about you leaving the stage early.
No, especially if they're fucking loving the whole set. Like, get out while it's good,
Yeah. Hung out with Joe Cool. I kind of felt bad because, like, I don't know how about, like, are you having fun, dude? I'm walking around. We're walking around this huge fucking convention center. There's music everywhere, concussive noise. And I'm like, dude, there's really nothing to do except walk around and smoke cigarettes. That's pretty much what we do in the middle of this.
Chris, check your texts.
I don't have my phone on me.
No.
Well,
Anyway.
Never mind.
But I cede the rest of my time to Matt Fondelier. I'm out. It was good time. Thanks for asking.
I don't have the option to allow Gary to have video.
And make me host.
But then will it stop my recording of this meeting?
Ooh.
How are you the only person that doesn't?
I don't know.
What happened?
It is not an option here.
Just click on my name. Click next to my name and see if it says ask to start video.
Okay, I will click the 3 dots. Okay, sorry for the production.
We edit nothing?
We edit nothing.
Nothing?
We edit nothing.
Are we
Gary,
sure?
I click the 3 dots. I'm trying to get Gary's video working here. It says chat, pin, make host, rename, allow to record a computer, allow to multi-pin, put in waiting room, which is tempting, remove, also tempting, or report, most tempting. I don't have anything else.
I should mention we are all professional podcast producers at this point. So
In fact, it was alluded to earlier today during the meetup that we are some of the best in the business, like world class.
World class.
we are a world. Yes, that's right.
All right, I'm going to try to make you host,
co-host.
Gary.
Make me co-host.
That is not an option.
Maybe we
I
just
read you
keep
all
Gary
my
on
options.
voice for the rest of the episode.
I don't know what to do here. Allow recording.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyway,
This is a free show. Settle down, Cynthia.
Cynthia in the comments is like, what are we paying for? Yeah, Kevin Garrett's in the live. We're hot off a meetup. Look, we dished it out.
Yeah,
There's some hot goss in there. And so a lot of the people in the meetup are still in the live comments of this chat, and they are just praising me for my Zoom skills and podcast producing skills. It's quite wonderful.
How about host transferring skills?
I'll try it.
Do it.
This
Let's
is
do
Matt's Zoom, right? So maybe he needs to. Didn't he start the Zoom? Oh,
Gary
okay.
Smith's
No,
the
you
host
got it.
now.
Okay.
Okay, I
And
did
we're
it,
still
and I'm
recording.
still recording. So
Cynthia, we're back on track.
we're in good shape.
Well,
Yeah, Cynthia.
Okay, yeah.
Woo! There
All right,
he
Gary.
is.
We got Gary's face back.
Gary.
Still looking melancholy, but it's okay.
I'm back.
All right, now, Doss, I'm stoked you had a good trip, buddy. It sounds like you had a fun time. I think you needed that little break, getting out there, hanging out with friends, listening to some good music, putting up.
It was good. I had the weirdest job real quick. I did have the one strangest job. I've never had this job. The boss says we need you to go backstage and help blow up some balloons for the Vixen show. And that sucked.
Were they the backup singers?
Yes, no, the show was great. The balloons a compressor, got them up to this big, and there's no way to fucking tie them off. And so you're just trying to fucking tie a balloon. And it was the most frustrating thing I've ever gone through. Anyway, moving on.
Damn.
The payoff was good, dude. When we got the balloons up on the stage and fucking put them out into the crowd, it looked good. It worked.
Yeah.
But man, that was a tough hour.
Dude,
Listen,
in all
playing with
honesty,
go ahead, Kalen.
in all honesty, I myself cannot for the life of me tie a fucking balloon off. Both of my girls had birthdays recently, and we always like do balloons and spread them around the room, like while they're sleeping, so they can wake up to it. And my fiance fucking makes fun of me because she does it in an instant. I, for the life of me, cannot fucking tie off a balloon. I have to blow the fucker up and then hand it over like a fucking joint. Like it's all
Wow.
pressed together.
That's
So-
a regular balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
I
make
can't-
the thing this fucking big, and you can see what I'm
It would
talking
probably
about.
be easier,
I feel like the
but-
tie-off experience
it
pretty
wasn't.
similar. Just a
Right.
rubber notch.
When you
Yeah.
guys, okay, first
What's
off,
the blockage, Kalen?
There's
Like,
no
you
room.
tie-
There's no room to fucking
So,
fit
so
it
wait,
in there. It's
am I hearing this
already
right that
making my
Kalen-
fingers purple.
Am I hearing this right? That Kalen has trouble with the balloon knot?
I did. Yes, that's right. I did. Thank you, Gary.
And not
Very
a fan
astute-
of the balloon knot.
astute
if that's,
observation.
yeah.
This is a life skill. It's like tying a tie, for weddings and stuff. Like now you have
I
daughters.
can watch a
Kalen.
YouTube video on that shit. I don't
You
know if there's
should.
any.
There's
Oh,
got to be a YouTube
you
video.
gotta
about
Google
balloon
Wait,
knots.
balloon
before you
knots.
look it up,
You gotta Google it, dude.
let's get the
Report
over
back.
under on how many views the top video is for how to tie a balloon knot. How many views do you think is on that video?
Well over 69.
While we're looking that up, balloon knot, my favorite euphemism for butthole, and then two.
Wait,
How many
is that
do
what
you
we're talking
know?
about? Is that what
How
we're
many
talking
do
Whoa,
you know
whoa,
of?
whoa, buttholes. What's going on here?
And two, when you guys tie a balloon knot, are you 2-finger guys or 1-finger guys?
Oh no!
Two
Oh,
fingers is the
no.
trick. That's how you have to do it, because that's where you. That's how
Did you get the crack?
eat it. You get the divot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we figured out during this
don't wanna
long
click
balloon
meatball
tying
saying.
excursion. And it took us like halfway through the balloons to figure it out. My buddy's like, dude, if you use 2 fingers, you can wrap it around.
Kalen,
Yeah.
Have you tried
was
2
the key.
fingers?
Yeah, that was the logical choice because
Uh-huh.
of the crack in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
I couldn't get it done.
All right. It's gonna take a little bit of time and practice, but maybe you could get 3 fingers. Maybe that'll work.
Seems a
See,
bit tight.
Yeah. In the live comments, Meatball150 posted a YouTube link, and Matt immediately looked at the chat and went, I am not clicking that link.
Me either.
All right. By the way, Dawson, I mean, obviously you wouldn't have it there, but I have invested in a balloon blower.
It's a little air compressor, right?
It's like a little
Yeah.
box of 2 like long nipples that you put
Yes,
the
we
balloon
had
on,
we
and you
had
bend
one
them
of
like-
those. So
like
we didn't have to actually physically blow these up, but that air compressor starts burning your fingers, and you got to hold the balloon on it. And so then your fingers are burning, and then you're wrapping this plastic around your fingers, and it's fucking torture.
Yeah.
Burning
So
balloon.
that thing's not going to last very long. I think they bought this like 2 festivals ago. I think it's time to replace it.
I see. Yeah, because I mean, a hot thing right now. I mean, probably in the last 8 or 9 years are those balloon arches. I've seen them everywhere, like at parties. and
like an
ev-
arch.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
Okay, like at weddings and shit.
Yeah, weddings,
Quinceañeras.
parties, quinceañeras, bar mitzvahs.
You been to a lot of
Right.
quinceañeras recently, Doss?
No, but I have a joke
Let's hear it.
about how I found out I'm Mexican and I'm Sicilian. And I like the way they jive together because as a Sicilian, I can keep a grudge. I can hold a grudge my entire life. But now as a Mexican, when that grudge turns 16, I throw a party for the person I hold it against. And I call it a quinceañera and asshole.
Oh,
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I like that one. That might be my fave.
Thank you.
plate. Yeah. So people are saying in the chats, balloon arches. Cynthia says balloon arches are bullshit. The Jenkses say, yeah, $900 for a single arch at their last company event. These balloon arches,
Out of control.
they're out
And by
of
the
control.
way, that $900 arch gets up to about $2,100 if it's for a wedding.
Wow.
I feel like if you can just get like 3 bouquets of 5 balloons, like 15 balloons, that's a fucking party. Once we go above 15, that's just too many balloons.
I'll tell you what.
What are we doing?
Fill every balloon with nitrous oxide, hippie crack, and I'm down. I'll pay that much money. And then at the end of the night, it's a fucking real party.
I feel like I just sucked in a balloon full of nitrous based on Chris's focus.
But yeah, I know. But Kaylin,
Yes.
does $900 for a huge arch of balloons? Does that seem like that's worth the value to you? One who does not know how to tie a balloon, that's probably pretty impressive to see a whole arch of
if
them.
I needed one, would I pay that much considering that I cannot tie it off myself?
Correct.
Fuck no. I would fucking watch a YouTube video on it.
Okay, so either way, it's still gonna be DIY.
Yeah.
Or DIY. Sorry, I got the letters wrong. What is on your hat, Kaylin?
DIY.
Dude,
Yeah,
it was
DIY.
DIY. I don't know. Dude, I've had a hell of a week. What's on your hat?
It's a bear drinking a beer.
That's a new
Nice.
hat. I like it.
It is. Yeah, I got it while I was on vacation in
I was
Carmel.
just gonna ask another person on this
Dude,
show.
you were
has
out of town?
come back from a really fun trip, Dawson. We're not going to talk a work trip now. I want to talk about a fun trip.
Yeah.
I want to talk to somebody who went vacay, who went out
Send me
for
away.
fun and just enjoyed.
That's a Night Ranger
himself.
song, Matt.
Don't think I don't know that.
It's actually Sing Me Away, but go on.
I didn't.
And I want to hear about all the food that
Give
you
us
ate.
the deets.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, for the past couple of years, we would always go up to Santa Barbara. Every August, me and Amy, we go up to Santa Barbara. That's kind of been our trip. But, we figured we'd switch it up a little bit. We went to La Jolla 2 years ago, as you might remember me telling you about a little bit.
La Jolla.
Never forget it.
And so this year we found a hotel that was right on the beach, ocean view in Carlsbad. Never been there, but it looked nice. So we booked 2 nights down there, and it was fucking awesome, dude. Carlsbad fucking rules. They got a great fucking little main street there. It kind of reminded me of Seal Beach, that main street in Seal Beach. Real cute shops, good food, all that sort of thing. First day we got down there was when I really hit the 2 spots I was looking for the most. I went and I got 2 rounds of seafood. Like scallops and crab cakes, and then I went over to a Hawaiian joint, got fish tacos and masubi, and then I was good. I had pretty much everything I wanted to eat down there was the seafood. So the next
What about
day,
the mushrooms you wanted to eat?
that was the next day. The
Okay.
next day, I spent not worrying about going into town and checking out the shops because we had already done that the day before. So the second day, the Saturday, yeah, I spent the entire day first getting drunk and sitting on my balcony, watching the waves, listening to a little Kill Tony, because that's my new fucking podcast. And I had a great time. And the thing about mushrooms is you can drink a fuckload of booze and be super drunk. And then once you take the mushrooms, you can literally feel the instant that they take that drunkenness away from you and a new sensation rises out of it. It's really
Emerges from the ashes.
There's
like
a reason they call it magic mushrooms. I was done.
Yeah, I think
I
we need
was
to preface here that
done.
none of us are doctors and this is not medical advice.
Thank you, Gary Goes.
What floor balcony
We aren't
were you
doctors,
on
but it
when
might
you,
be medical advice. Second floor. Second
Alright,
floor,
well,
but there was a
you
high.
survive.
I couldn't fall over. But yeah, I was gone by 1:30. And then time for the mushrooms. Ate them, kicked in a half hour later. I mean, obviously I wasn't sober, but I no longer felt drunk whatsoever. And my initial thought was, I'm going to go swim in the ocean. So I spent
Smart.
I spent about 2 hours swimming in the ocean on mushrooms, and that shit was fucking magical.
Nice.
Go
fucking
to an
awesome.
underwater fairyland? What happened? What was it like feeling the waves over your body?
It was great. I mean, like I said, the first time, well, not the first time, but the first time in my recent years that I did mushrooms in La Jolla, one of the main things I remember is seeing the ocean turn purple. It just turned purple. And this time again, it turned purple, and I was like, I gotta fucking jump in that bitch. So I went right in there, and the whole time I was the water was glistening, everything was purple, it was magical, and dude, I was having a fucking great time just by myself, fucking
Galen,
doing
I know
mushrooms, like
it
being in the
sounds-
ocean, riding waves. It was fucking awesome, dude. It was the
Nice.
best.
That sounds beautiful. Amy actually said you didn't go in the ocean. You thought you did, but you're actually just rolling around in someone's yard in the sprinklers.
Oh, no.
But either way, I'm glad you
I didn't do like a full dose, but a little bit under that. And I like to do it, I don't ever do them during the day really either. So I was able to like come off of them and then still have a night. We went out to dinner that night, got some more like pizza and seafood, and it was great. It was fucking fantastic.
That sounds like a good trip, buddy. I'm glad you had fun.
It was a great trip.
All
Sounds
right.
like probably the best trip that could possibly hear about on this.
I think so. So I think those are all the vacation trips that stories we really need right now. So
maybe some comments.
Oh, we could do some comments. Hey,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Matt Fondelier is back. I can't do this long. Matt Fondelier.
Didn't Gary go somewhere? Gary, you went on a trip recently, right?
Yeah, I think we've all
We talked
podcasted
about it.
We talked about it. Okay.
Yeah, I went to Arizona. It was great. It was
Yeah.
lovely. It was it was glorious. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, we talked about. We heard all
Amazing.
about it. It did sound glorious, and he brought in pictures of food. It was.
I
pretty
did a Shea Garay while you were gone.
Oh, I heard. I listened to all of it. You guys did a great job.
Now, so I had a little bit of a different last few days. So I was in an emergency room as my mom got into a bad car accident.
Yeah. What the
yeah,
fuck
so-
happened, man?
Oh man, so I'm cleaning out the shed. Jen's like been asking me for months to clean out the shed, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna clean out this shed and organize. I got time, so it's like 4 o'clock.
So would you say this is a shed talk?
It's a shed talk.
Alright.
And the way I did it was I took everything out of the shed and I put it out into the yard. And I'm like, I'm just going to put everything back in, organized, all the tools organized, everything. And so I take everything out. And it's like I'm literally taking out the last paint bucket and put it out in the yard. I get a call from my mom and she just says, Chris, I've been in a car accident. I'm in an ambulance right now. I'm not okay. I had to call somebody, and then her phone gets taken by the guy in the ambulance. He's telling me like, oh yeah, we're going to this hospital. Please come. And so I'm like, well, all right. And so I just leave all my stuff out in the yard and I drive to the hospital. She had a big gash on the back of her head. Basically someone ran a red light, clipped her into a pole. And it was bad, and they had to take her out. So I mean, so yeah, they did some scans. She suffered some head trauma, and so I'm just sitting in an emergency room all day, and all night. So I don't want to leave her side just because it's it's the emergency room. I don't want. Yeah, I'll stay with her. I'll just I called, told my work, and she's like, I'm not coming in. I'm just gonna stay here. And the hospital was so full that even the emergency room was packed to where we had to just go into one of those like curtained off areas. Kalen, you're probably familiar with.
I am very familiar with hospital visits. Yes.
With hospitals and the and so you're in the room.
The ER. This is before being admitted.
Yeah, this is the ER. Yes, before being admitted, and the only thing separating you between all the other little booths, I guess, the triage is just the thinnest curtain that.
Those are soundproof, though.
You would think they're soundproof, and
Chris,
so
did you know anyone? I know you know a lot of people in the medical profession. Did you know anyone who worked at this
not
facility?
this
by
hospital.
chance?
No. She was
That's
taken to
tough.
one that I've never been to, but I do know people. Yeah, it was like the one that I didn't know anybody personally.
When I was in the hospital too, and I had my pulmonary embolism, I've told this story before. There was only a curtain separating me, beside the person next to me, and I was screaming in pain, and the old fucker next to me kept yelling out, "Shut the fuck up!" I was like, "I'm sorry."
Oh wow! You really struck a nerve with that guy.
I did. I pissed him the fuck off.
Well, I will relate to him only in this sense, as to Matt, you would think they're soundproof. They are quite not, to the point where I hear everything just so clearly up to the bowel movement next door. And so we're in this room forever while these rooms are just getting switched out around us, and I'm hearing just the conversations between the whole trauma team as things they've seen. And as somebody who likes to read the wiki of horror movies and maybe even ultra violent action movies, I was pretty horrified by some of the things that were said. Also, there was
just
no
casually throwing out these like horrendous stories, like,
Yes.
oh, that reminds me of the time that Bob lost his head, like weird fucking shit like that the whole time.
yes.
That's so
And-
weird. That's so
and-
fucking weird.
And like I wrote some of the stuff down just so I wouldn't forget.
Yeah, sounds like a fucking malpractice lawsuit.
Because
Dad.
well, look, I'm breaking hip. I know. No. I won't tell you where I was, but and also there's no phone signal here, so everybody who's like calling their family to tell them what happened, they had to FaceTime. So it's like extra conversation that I had to hear because it's all on speakerphone. But like I hear this woman moaning, Kaylin, for like 2 hours just next to us, like really in pain, really upset.
I relate to her.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh. And I guess she's been in there for a few days. And then she just uses Siri and just FaceTime somebody. And then she's just talking to the person. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I severed my spinal cord. And now I'm partly paralyzed. And I was just like, oh, my God.
And was that when you yelled at her to shut the fuck up?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that
You're
was
bumming
my
me
cue.
out, bitch.
That was my cue. And then like another lady talking about how, she's constipated and it's been like days and days and days since she went. She's like, how does that work? And they have to discuss it with it. And then I'm just hearing them talking about that. And she's like,
I relate
trying.
to that too.
Yeah, I know, Kaylin. And like, and just the conversations, like this woman called her boyfriend. And like, all he kept saying was he wasn't going to visit her. He's just like, oh yeah, I got work, but I'll come by. And I'm like, dude, visit your girl. Visit your girl. She's in the ER. Stop coming up with excuses and all. And the only thing he kept saying was, make sure they fix your feet, baby. Make sure they fix your feet.
Oh no.
And I'm like, what does that mean? Why is that all you're saying?
Simmons?
What are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I know you got all these problems, but hey, when you talk to the doctor, make sure they fix your feet, baby. And now I'm just confused and even more intrigued. But Kaylin, the worst was hearing the trauma team, all the nurses, and they're just talking about the worst compound fractures they've ever seen. And then what's worse than compound fractures? And they're just going into gruesome detail. And I wanted to go out there and be like, hey, I can hear you. This is so anyway, that was my night. And I had to sleep in that room because they couldn't find us a bed in a chair. So I had to, and there's no walls. So it's just a chair. And I had to just sit and sleep, just sitting straight up. I fell asleep just sitting straight up, only to be awoken when like I would just tilt and start falling. But yeah, I spent my whole night doing that. It was quite fun. But anyway, mom's okay. She's
doing better.
She has been discharged from the hospital and everything is going okay.
Did she? I have to ask. Did she ever actually get admitted to like
Yes.
a proper? Okay.
Yeah. She was. But like they were holding off because it was so full. So we had to wait for a bed to open up. But everything's good,
dude.
Well,
everything's
Chris,
good.
I'm very sorry to hear about this story of head trauma and shed trauma. That's
The
just
shed trauma, yeah. The shed trauma.
How
Oh,
did
man.
what
what happened with
shed
the shed? Did you ever
items
figure
ever
it
get
out? Yeah.
resolved?
Jenny put him back in
Wow.
when I was at the hospital.
That's
She was
cheaper.
holding your baby.
Did you ask Jenny, by the way, if this behavior that you witnessed by these other trauma nurses is in any way acceptable in like hospital centers, or is she just like that's what people
I found
do?
it so interesting how casual hospital staff is with each other. It is their own community, so they're just like I'm thinking you're just seeing the most horrific things, and they're just walking like, oh hey, yeah, oh who you drafting first in fantasy football, and so it's like, oh, I mean,
who are they drafting first? Just out of curiosity. I got it coming up Friday. I just want to know what.
So it is interesting, but I mean, and Jen's really, she's very close with the people she works with too. So I think there's almost a bonding in war kind of situation there with the staff.
Well, on top of hearing all of the horrific stories and dealing with all those people, they're also working 12-hour shifts on top of all that shit. Like,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
they're fucking.
Yeah.
They must be hardened.
Oh no, God bless them. Yeah, it's a lot. But anyway, so that was a fun little hospital trip that I had to deal with and just eat the hospital food, Kaylin, and you know how it goes. I mean, I feel like I've been to hospitals a lot more lately. I don't know why.
You gotta go out. You gotta go out.
But the good
Go
thing,
to the
Chris,
nearest
when you
spot
had to
nearby.
eat hospital food, at least that was one of those times that you could eat anything you wanted as long as you got it from the hospital.
Chris, I
That's
think I'm
right.
pretty squarely on the record for being willing to bring in food to hospitals. You should have just given me a call. I would have
That's okay. I don't need to bother anybody. But anyway, so that's why I'm a little all over the place right now mentally. But it's all good now. I can't wait. It's Labor Day weekend coming up, and so I'm in a pretty good place. So anyway, I didn't mean to depress everybody. Anyway, so Matt's back. So tell us about your trip, buddy.
Woo! That is a hard fucking shaft. Boy.
I'm sorry.
No, honestly, dude, like I'm so glad to hear that your mom is doing better.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. No,
It's
it's all
traumatic
good. It's all
thing to
good.
fucking go through.
Car's
so.
totaled. By the way, so car is totaled, and we had to go. It was taken to a tow yard, and my brother went to the tow yard to grab my mom's things out of her car because it's totaled, and she just wanted to get the stuff that was left in her car. And I will say, tow yards have to be the worst customer-facing service in the history of the planet.
They just don't give a fuck. They
really
they don't
they're
need to
robots.
give a fuck. That's as predatory as it comes.
I'll tell you, I knew a guy who ran a tow yard in Santa Barbara. He was my neighbor, and he's like, man, it's the greatest money. It is a lucrative business.
Certainly.
Yeah, it's legalized stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so my brother goes there and he's waiting in line, and he's texting me. He's like, hopefully they'll let me take a look at the car. I do have proof that I'm family, insurance has our back, blah blah blah. But he's like, but I'm in a line, and they've already announced they are giving 10 minutes per person max. Otherwise, get out of here. Like, so that each person gets a 10-minute time limit to explain their case of what they need for whatever it is, and so he finally gets it, but now he gets to go through the car to get my mom's stuff, and they give him a 5-minute limit. Like, okay, you have 5 minutes to get whatever you want. Like it's a game show. Like it's like Super Stopper. Get everything you can in 5 minutes. The rest
That
is
seems extremely illegal.
Yeah.
Like, let me spend 10 minutes or 15. What
Right.
the fuck do you care?
And they straight up just were breathing down his neck, and to where he didn't get everything because they
Oh
timed
my
him for
God.
5 minutes. I'm like, what? How is any of this legal? But I don't know what the stipulation is. But I've gone to tow yards with people who've gotten their car towed, and man, they really they don't give an F about whatever happened to you,
Just
whatever
like
your
the
case
trauma
is.
nurses. Just like trauma nurses, they've seen it all just from different worlds.
Yeah.
They've seen it all, but
there's
at least
zero
trauma
empathy.
nurses are doing
Zero
something.
empathy.
But trauma nurses, they care about what's going on. They're not like phased by what they're seeing, and you can't really throw them off kilter. But
Right.
these tow yard people, they're ruthless. They're just stoned. Like they are the American equivalent of those British guards who just like can't make an emotion, just don't give an F what you do in front of them. Like they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Tell me the sad story. I won't. You have no sympathy from me at all. And so that's kind of what we had to do.
What'd your brother miss?
Some of our work stuff.
Oh, geez, now she can't even do her job. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to get everything, and but he may have missed some work documents and maybe a laptop or something. But
oh my God,
yeah, it found 5 minutes, and he was stressed. He was all stressed out, so it was a little all over the place.
Wow, dude. I guess if you have a lawyer on retainer that's close to you, take your lawyer to the tow yard with you.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. They can't legally tell you get 10 minutes with your car. I don't understand how that's. What if you don't know what I got in there?
dude,
That's fucked up, dude.
I know. Tow yards, man. Who would have known? Actually, I kind of knew just based off of past experiences there. But yeah, I will say the worst customer facing industry that you could probably find, at least to the customers. They just do not give an F.
Well, that certainly sucks, but as long as your mom's, on the right road to recovery, I think that's what's most important. But sorry you had to deal with that, man. That had to be tough for the whole family.
Yeah.
Matt, I assume that we will be hearing about this trip over the course of several episodes, maybe even, several weeks. Is that accurate? Because I think that if it is, we may want to give a slight preview and then go deeper on Patreon.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I'm prepared to do a real quick recap. to get us just to give the
You have
basics
5
of
minutes.
kind of what happened. Yeah, great. I feel
How
like
about a
I'm
recap?
looking into my car. No, I will just say that I spent a life-changing experience in both France and Spain
God.
with my beautiful wife. The first part of our trip was with my father-in-law, who lives in the French countryside, and he's in the middle of fucking nowhere, total boonies. There is one restaurant in
That's
the
all the time we
town,
have.
and he doesn't like the restaurant, and the next town is 25 minutes away, and they only have one restaurant. I'm saying millions and millions of sunflowers in these endless fields, tree-lined streets. I mean, it was just the most picturesque experience you could imagine. We went to castles, we went to caves. I have a crazy story that I definitely want to share with you guys on Patreon if you'll allow me. While we were in France. And then we took a train into Spain, and our Spanish part of the trip was kind of in 2 parts. The first part was in this northern region where the Dalí Museum is, and I'm standing by my pronunciation. Absolutely incredible hotel that we stayed at. I got to walk into the Mediterranean Sea, and it was...
Were you on mushrooms?
I was not, but I may as well have been. It was one of the most just heavenly moments of my life. We also had one of the best meals. It's definitely in the top 2, and it may one day become the number 1 meal. 24 plates of food served over 4 hours. I don't even know how I can begin to break this down for you guys. That won't take 7 episodes, but I will do my damnedest. And then the last part of our trip was in Barcelona, which is kind of like New York City, where there's just endless culture happening on endless streets. And we had 3 days of bar hopping, museums, restaurants. We hit everything on our list and more. But the one thing that I want to tell you guys about was on the flight home, I got talking to from one of the stewardesses for ordering too much alcohol. And this has never happened before.
Oh my.
And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on what happened here, because I feel like this woman was absolutely out of line.
Me too.
Thank you.
They do have a rule.
What's that? What's the rule?
The rule is they're not allowed to serve a visibly intoxicated person.
All right. Well, all I'm saying is I'm a pay customer, and if
I'm with you 100%.
I should be allowed to. Okay. I don't care what they say.
100%.
Let me through the doors.
I'm sorry this happened to you. That's
now you don't
bullshit.
want your order spread out very far.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
All right. No, this was totally bizarre to me, because this is a 10-hour international flight.
Right.
And on our flight out, they were only serving wine. But on the flight back, it was obvious that they were serving booze. And the dude pulling the dinner cart along asked for drinks. We absolutely, probably the only people on the plane that got a round of drinks. And then a little bit later, they asked if anyone needed anything. So we got another round of drinks. Now I'm curious, how do you guys feel about the stewardess button, the flight attendant button?
Oh,
You guys ever
Only
use
for
it?
use in case of emergency.
I have
Yeah,
never
Is
used
that what it's
alcohol
for?
makes-
Is
I
that
have
what it's
never-
for?
never
Dude.
used it.
Uh-oh.
That is not for booze.
Well,
yeah, no, it's not.
That's
for
for
booze.
water.
You have to get
they
up
should
and
put
walk
that.
over there.
Maybe that
you
was
walk
my
over to where
mistake.
they are and apologize
I
for
think
disturbing them,
maybe that was my
and say,
mistake.
"Can I please get more bourbon?"
Well, I hit the button, and the lady asked me what I wanted, and I asked for... Again, you guys see me drunk on a regular basis. I am not a visibly upsetting person. I'm always fucking calm and collected. And I was like, can we please get another round? And she said, can you come to the back of the plane for that? And I said, absolutely. So I walked to the back of the plane. We had a lovely conversation.
Straight line.
Took my drinks back.
That's straight.
And an hour later, I was like, all right, we still have 5 fucking hours left on this flight. And so this time I didn't hit the button. I went back there again and I said, yeah, please have another round of drinks. And at that point, she explained to me that she just gave me a drink an hour ago and that she hoped that we were enjoying snacks, because when we land in the United States, if anyone smells alcohol on your breath, they will pull you aside and they will not let you through. And it will come back to me, the flight attendant, for over serving you. And I was like, this is crazy. Like,
you just
we're
got shut
eating
down.
Are
snacks.
bartenders, like, in
Yeah.
a sense.
This is fucking nuts.
I agree.
So-
I don't agree with that logic because you can
No.
always just take an Uber, but at the same time, they are kind of bartenders.
Where-
If a
where-
bartender is too, they gotta cut you off.
I certainly have
Well,
questions.
She didn't cut me off. She poured me another drink. And I'll tell you what,
Oh,
guys.
okay.
And I'll
Well,
tell
then
you
what's
what,
the
guys.
problem?
One more hour later, another steward walked through the drink cart, and I got another drink.
Yeah, good.
And it was a great fucking flight. But I just could not. Nothing of consequence happened after that. But I just
Okay.
couldn't believe this interaction of being like, "Sir, I served you a tiny alcohol bottle's worth over an hour ago." Like,
She wanted
what?
to get a pound of flesh out of you, dude.
I get it.
She
You've
wanted
seen
to
some
lecture
shit.
you.
You've seen
Yeah.
some shit. But lady, I've been on a whirlwind vacation. I just want to get home, and goddamn it, I drank to my heart's content. All on the house, thanks to Delta. God, that was a great trip. Anyway, that's what
I look, I have questions. First
Save it
off,
for Patreon, baby.
yeah, Patreon. That's Patreon. Sorry, Gary.
all right, I'll save it for Patreon. All right, why don't we go around and get our plugs in? I'll start with Gary.
Check out Reasonable Doubt on YouTube, youtube.com/Reasonable Doubt Podcast.
Oh, very good show. Very, very good show. Please check it out. By the way, I ran into Mark at like Lazy Dog Cafe, and I said I've been enjoying the show, and he said I could get like a sweatshirt or something, but we can talk about it some other time.
Lazy Dog Cafe, huh?
Just a happy hour at the bar. And then, Kaylin, what do you got?
Just Fooling About podcast. We got a great episode coming out next week with Shannon McIntosh, who is one of Quentin Tarantino's producers, worked on The Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a bunch of others, and Jeff Fahey, who is in Grindhouse. If you love Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez shit, there's a ton of really fun information in there. So that's gonna be coming out Tuesday.
Just Fooling About. Nice job, Kaylin. And then Dawson, what about you?
Watching on Netflix, Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War, 6-part documentary, and it's pretty fucking awesome. Narrated by Ed Harris, full-on reenactments of not only the shootout at the OK Corral, but they reenact it the way Ike Clanton said it happened, and then they reenact it the way someone else said it happened, and then here's what really happened. And it's just fantastically produced. It's totally worth your time. Wyatt Earp and the Cowboy War.
Love it. And Matt, what about you?
Please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/watercooler. I mean, as you can tell, we do our show in 2 parts now. You're only hearing half of the show. And if you like it, please check out the other half. I got more great stories from my trip that I'm very excited to share with you guys. It's $5 a month. Do the right thing. Come on.
And you get this half.
It's cheaper than a
ad-free.
fucking coffee. Come on. And there's no ads. Come on, people.
Yeah.
You know you want to.
Meetups.
We love you for it. We love our Model Money meetup people as well. Thank you guys for sticking around. That
Yes.
was a lot of fun.
Had a really good time at the meetup. And did you guys watch the Spectacular Now yet?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I'm 20 minutes
did.
in.
20? Oh, okay.
You guys were
I'm
saying-
already
Oh.
uncomfortable. My anxiety is already starting to rise.
Yeah, you guys were like, oh, Matt's going to be upset because it wasn't Valentine's Day or whatever. But I realized Chris was going for the theme of Labor Day because this movie's taking a lot of work to fucking get through, man. This is going to be, I can't wait.
Oh. And then as for
Speaking
me,
of which, the movie's going to be a little late this month.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry.
oh, that's true. And then as for me, my band's playing, Loxy is playing in Marina Wine on
Anywhere someone could follow you on Instagram, or
September-
maybe
that
all of this
Loxy music.
info.
September 1st at the Big Bang on the Bay in Long Beach, and then Tantalum September 7th and 14th in Long Beach all night long. All right. That will do it for this episode of Watercooler. We'll be back with the Patreon episode later this week. We love you. Goodbye.